All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as in part of my never-ending quest to make things easier for students in the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies, and in particular with this video series, the AWD 1111 Database-Driven Websites courses, I'm creating a series of video presentations based on the ebooks by Mr. Flavio Copes. I've so far done a series on his HTML ebook, one on his CSS ebook, one on his JavaScript ebook, one on his ES5 to ESNext ebook, and one on his React ebook. So I'm in the Node.js, and afterwards I'll do the Express.js. But I'm in the Node.js right now, and this is about 189 pages, so I'm about a third of the way through. And we're now talking about the package lock JSON file. Now, you may or may not remember, but earlier I did open that file. You really shouldn't. This isn't a file you should touch. It's automatically generated for you. All right. So I'm going to close it. But it says there it's automatically generated when installing Node packages. All right. And let's just jump right into it. It says the goal of the file is to keep track of the exact version of every package that is installed so that the product is 100% reproducible. What the heck does that mean? What that means is if I were to go and take this package and I'd want to put it out there and I'd want other people to be able to use it. So I create this app, whatever it's going to do. And I think this is a fantastic app. Other people are going to want to use it. And I want to make it available to them. Well, typically what I do then is when I go and upload it to the internet. Now notice on here, if I just highlight these, let's say these 4 files right there, and I right mouse click and I choose properties, it says 60K, which is pretty doggone small. But once I add this node modules, now it's almost 6 meg. All right. Now, what I'm telling you is if I were to go in and upload all this into production environment, I would not upload my node modules. All right. But instead, I can come in here. In fact, let's show it to you. Okay. All right. I'm going to come in and probably, I may regret doing this, but it's not hurting anything. This is just a practice one anyway. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove. Whoops, I don't know if I did or not. So let's try that again. I did not. So let's remove this. Delete. Okay. Now it's going in there and it's removed all of it. Now my program's not going to work anymore because I've lost all my dependencies. However, let's come in here and do this. So I'm going to clear. All right. And I'm going to type in Npm Install. Just that, Npm Install, and hit enter. And did a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes. Let's see what it did. Well, lo and behold, it added back my node modules. And again, it was 5.7 some meg, so that's back. And if I come back to here, this may have restarted, but I don't have any errors. And if I come back to here, and I refresh, all right, I don't have any errors anymore. I can still probably, I think at least, come back in here and in my server.js, let's just change this to, come on, what happened there? Just make it hello world. All right, and I can come back into here and refresh, and there's hello world. So I didn't break anything, but what I was trying to show you was once you go and upload something for production, you typically don't upload the stuff in the node modules folder. All right, so getting back to package lock JSON. this is, to me, this is it in a nutshell. The package lock.json file sets your currently installed version of each package in Stone. NPM will then use those exact versions when you run the npm install. All right? That's exactly what I wanted to have happen there. Now, you already saw this, but I think it's probably worth mentioning it again. At tilde, notice what it says. If you write tilde 0.13.0, you only want release patches. So in other words, 13, any of these numbers can change. It could go up to 50, but you want this to stay at 13 and you want this to stay at 0. That's if the tilde's in front of it. If it's a caret in front of it, you want to update patch and minor releases. So you can't change this number, but you can change this number, and or you can change this number. If you write it like this, that means always use that exact version. All right, so if we go back and we look at what we've got in our package lock.json, notice 1.0, 1.1.2, etc. All the stuff that's in here, it's in there just like that. All right, which is saying to me that with some of this stuff, we don't want to change it. With other stuff, again, you now know what this means. And there was a bigger explanation of it a little bit earlier on in the book, but just so you see that. All right. Now, they do mention, because they go on a little bit more about this, and they say back when we set up that cowsay that we did before. See, this is page 66. It says cowsay depends on get standard in, Optimus, string width, and string EOF. So it brought in those modules. In turn, those packages require other packages. So all that stuff had to be added. And as they mentioned right there, these were all added, and they were added in alphabetic order into the file. All right, so we can tell what's there, what's not there, etc. If you want to come in and find the installed version of any npm package, you can type in npm list. So we should be able to come in here and type in npm list. And what is it showing us? Well, it's pretty ugly, but it shows us all the packages that we have ended up installing. Now remember, when we installed something, it says cowsay needed this stuff, all right, etc. So if we go look back in here, there's Express, and Express is going to be pretty darn long. It goes all the way, keeps still going, all that. So it brought in all that stuff. Lodash brought in whatever, all right, etc. So to see the latest version of all npm packages installed, you type in npm list. If for some reason, and I can't think of a good reason off the top of my head, but if for some reason you wanted to install an older version of an npm package, you can do that. So you say npm install, the name of the package, @ and the version. So what they're saying is back when this was written 2 or 3 years ago, npm install cowsay, install version 1.3.1. But if you wanted to install an earlier version, you could say npm install cowsay @ 1.2.0, for example. And there may be a very valid reason for doing that. All right. How to update all the node dependencies to their latest version. It says, how do you update all the npm dependencies stored in the package.json file to their latest version? So let's say you had an older version, but you knew you wanted the more up-to-date one. All right. You could come in then and add that. All right. And they say here npm outdated. So let's run that and see if we get anything. Now, if it just comes back like that, that means we're using the most up-to-date packages. Now, that's the way it should work, because with the installs that we've done, we didn't tell it to install any older versions. So we've got nothing right now that's out of date. All right. But if we did find something, we could run npm update. There's no sense in doing that right now because everything that we've entered has already been up to date. All right. And again, with some of the stuff that's in here, if I jump ahead a little bit in here, they talk about semantic versioning here. And what they're saying here is, let's go back a page here, that when you run versioning, the first digit is the major version. All right. So that's the version number. The second one is a minor version, and the third is a patch version. So you end up using these different symbols with this. And now we've already talked about it, but let's just run through all of these. So if you've got in here the caret sign, 0.13.0, when you run the update, it can patch not the first number, but either the second number and or the third number. If you put a tilde in there, then you can change the last number, but you cannot change the first number or the second number. If you put a greater than sign in there, you can accept any version higher than the one you specify. Greater than or equal to any version equal to or higher than, less than or equal, less than or equal to for the exact version. Most of these probably make sense. The minus sign, as it says, you can accept a range of versions. So this would say anything that falls within that range. This allows you to combine sets, so less than this or greater than this. All right. It says there's a few other rules as well. No symbol, you accept only the latest and greatest. You can put in the word latest, etc. All right, to uninstall a package you have previously installed locally, it's npm uninstall followed by the package name. So if I didn't want Express in here anymore, I could remove it. Now, you already saw this, but let's take a quick look. What do I mean? Well, you already saw this. I came in here and I can say npx cause howdy partner, and I get that. Nothing big there, right? But I'm going to say npm uninstall cause. Now, it shouldn't be in there anymore. I'm going to clear, and I'm going to try to do it again. Now, why did that work? Because we used npx. Technically, this is no longer loaded. We told it to go out and find cause and execute it. All right? They've got a very good section in here on page 78 that says global or local packages. In other words, which one of these should you use? Should you install a package globally or locally? It says the main difference is this. Local packages are installed in the directory where you run them. Global are put in a single place, regardless of where they are run. All right. In general, everything should be done locally. Now, we didn't do it before globally, but we could have done nodemon if we wanted to globally. I look at when you put something in globally, for lack of better words, it's kind of a one and done type of thing. All right. So you install it once and you never worry about it again. All right. Typically, that's not going to be something that you're going to be worried about. They do give some examples on the bottom of the page here. These are some that you may want to go in and install globally. All right. When is a package a dependency and when is it a dev dependency? I'm on page 80 here. We're going to finish this next section up. It's the next couple pages, and then we'll take a little break here. So it says when you install an NPM package using the Npm Install, you're installing it as dependency. Makes sense? All right. When you add the D flag or -dev, you're installing it as development dependency. Development dependencies are for development only. A good example, not the ones they gave there, but was nodemon. You wouldn't want nodemon to be made available to your package after you deploy it for production. All right, that should only be done for development's sake. All right, and NPX, we've already talked about this a little, but let's look at it here. Finish this up, these last couple pages. As it says, the author says he wants to introduce a powerful command that's been available in NPM starting in version 5.2. If you don't want to install NPM, you can install NPX as a standalone package. All right, it lets you run code built with Node and published through the NPM registry. So it's one of those where you can execute things without having to install them. This becomes important when you're working with React, because that's typically how you're going to create your React projects is using NPM. All right. Node developers used to publish most of their executable commands as global packages in order for them to be in the path and executed immediately. This was a pain because you could not really install different versions. Running npx command name automatically finds the correct reference, so it'll automatically run the latest and greatest without requiring the package to be installed globally. Okay? All right. It says there's another great feature of npm, which is allowing to run commands without first installing them. It says this is pretty useful, mostly because 1, you don't need to install anything, and 2, you can run different versions of the same command. Again, that's with running npx. All right. And I think that's pretty much it for right here. So when I pick it up again, we're going to come in and start talking about the event loop. See you soon.